I've been trying to find the positives lately, and it's been, really hard. Another serious and tragic story that has come out of Springfield, Illinois, just in the last 24 hours. And I guess this happened back on July 6th, but for some reason has been buried in the media until now. And maybe because it's starting to gain some traction in the national media. But I wanted to come on today and talk about Sonya Massey. She's a young lady that had called the police back on July 6th to respond to an apparent possible intruder in and around her property. And while on that call, there was a police officer, 36-year-old Shawn Grayson, that shot and killed her. And we'll watch that body cam footage. And, and I understand, it's going to be tragic. It's triggering today. This is something that I want to get on and talk about. It needs to be talked about a lot more because I've been talking lately. I'm finding myself on the channel talking a lot lately about police reform and what are the checks and balances within these systems that allow people like this to join our police forces, our police teams. And, it's a problem. It's a major problem. And we're seeing it, very evident here in the state of Massachusetts. We're going to talk a lot about that this week on the upcoming programs. I have Boston Mike, Tom CPU coming in tonight. I'm sure that topic will come up. And then I have Mazza Media on Thursday, and we're going to talk about, all of the list of corruption, I would say probably over the last 10 years that has come to the public light here in Massachusetts. But again, I wanted to spotlight a little bit of this today and talk about it here on the show. And, things like this need to stop. We need to have better vetting in our police forces. We need to have a better process of letting people hold a badge and gun. And this person, or this former police officer, Shawn Grayson, had a multitude of issues in a very short amount of time and was allowed to stay on the police force. But let me pull up this article here from USA Today. We'll read through a little bit of it, and I have some videos, and we'll talk a little bit about this. I want to welcome everybody in, kind of a very early edition, pop-up edition for me today on LTL. So, it's crazy because I think I want to make sure that people really understand here. I support policing. Of course, if something's going to happen to me, I'm going to call 911 and I'm going to need help in a serious situation. But I support good policing. And we talked about that the other day on the live show when I had Rita and Jen in here about police reform and good policing and supporting good cops. And believe me, there is a majority of them out there. But the few that taint this profession, and believe me, it's not an easy profession. It's not something that I would ever want to do in my career. And you're seeing statistically that people don't want to do police type jobs or policing in their communities because one, they're afraid. Two, maybe public backlash. Do you think that the Springfield police now is because of this one super dirty cop? Every time that they respond to a call, are they going to have public trust in the officers that show up for those calls? We're seeing that here in the state of Massachusetts with all the corruption that's gone on. I mean, i.e. Karen Reed, Sandra Birchmore, the CDL scam, the overtime scam. So it's just hard not to turn a blind eye to these situations. And I'm just having a hard time coming on air and not being, not having to talk about this. It's something that needs to be talked about. Let me just pull this up. Kelly, thank you so much. Said, I feel the same way too. You guys are my escape. I was just diagnosed with a brain aneurysm and a blood clotting disorder. Oh, geez, Kelly, bless you. Bless you. Many healings sending your way. And thank you for spending your afternoon here on LTL. So let's pull up this article from USA Today. Welcome in, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you. And I appreciate you too, Mur. Thank you for being here. So let's shed some light on this case. It's something that needs to be talked about. And we'll read from this article here. And I'm not going to read through the whole entirety. I'll probably pick out some talking points here. but we'll get into Sonya Massey's case. So DUI and integrity concerns. What do we know about the deputy who killed Sonya Massey? It's a killing. I mean, he murdered her. It's flat out murder. I've watched the body cam footage several times. I've watched some opinions of former law enforcement officers, and they concur. I mean, this is murder. He completely murdered her. And again, this can be very triggering today. If this is something that you can't handle, I would just say, take this one off, or if you want to watch it on replay and skip through. But I don't, we're all adults here. We cover adult subjects. There's adult language sometimes. It happens. So it says, as visual and rallies crop up in the cities in the U.S. in the wake of Sonya Massey's killing, records and accounts detailed in media reports have shed new light on the years-long history of alleged misconduct of a former deputy charged with murder in the case of a multiple DUI arrest and allegedly lying, deception, and harassment. Shawn Grayson fatally shot 36-year-old Massey at her home, where another deputy were responding to a 911 call about a possible intruder on July 6th, while Grayson did not turn his body-worn camera on until after he shot Massey. The other deputy's body cam captured the incident on video. Thank God for that other body cam video. Thank God that officer, the second officer, had his camera on, because this probably would be a different situation. It probably would be a different situation. So it goes into the footage sparked national outrage, renewed calls for police reform, and has stirred memories of the killings of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. Grayson, 30, was fired from his post after he indicted multiple charges, including murder. He pled not guilty and remained in jail without bond. An attorney representing Grayson did not immediately respond to USA Today's request for comment about Grayson's DUI and alleged misconduct. The Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Union, which initially planned to fight Grayson's firing, decided Tuesday not to pursue his reinstatement, noting the organization had filed a grievance merely to standard procedure. I'm telling you why. They probably didn't think this was going to get national attention. I mean, you think about it. This is almost 3 weeks now. We're starting to finally hear about this story. So this story had been buried. They probably were going to contest his firing, but now this is national. They have no choice. They have no choice. Here's what we know about Grayson's time in the Army and at a half a dozen law enforcement agencies in central Illinois. Half a dozen agencies this guy was allowed to bounce around. Grayson was let go of the Army after serious offense. Grayson was discharged from the Army after misconduct described only as a serious offense, according to his personal file obtained by the State Journal Register, part of USA Today's network. While Grayson was in the Army, he was charged with driving under the influence on August 10th, 2015 in Girard, Illinois, and about 40 minutes west of Springfield. Online records listed Grayson's address as Fort Jackson, Kansas. Grayson was stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas, among other places. Grayson's former sergeant, in writing a recommendation letter for him for a job at the Auburn Police Department, noted that aside from Grayson's DUI, there were no other issues that he had during his tenure in the U.S. Army. As an Army spokesperson said in the unsigned email, U.S. Today, the discharge information could not be released, saying it would violate federal policy. The spokesperson added that Grayson served in the regular Army from May 2014 to 2016 and only obtained a second junior rank private first class. Grayson pled guilty to 2 DUIs before he was hired by law enforcement. I mean, where is the vetting? Where is the vetting in the process of hiring people to hold a badge and gun? I mean, we got to do better than this, people. Your organizations have to do better than this. I mean, we're paying your salaries. We are the taxpayers that are paying these salaries to put in the right and correct people in these positions, and it is being overlooked, grossly overlooked. And it's becoming a problem. People are dying. People are getting framed. We have to do better. There has to be major oversight and major overhaul in our police system, in our policing. So less than a year, on July 26, 2016, Grayson was charged with a second DUI, according to online records. He pled guilty in both cases, records show. Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell, in a statement emailed last week, said that the sheriff's office understood that serious misconduct referencing Grayson's Army personnel file was a DUI. Why was that information not being able to be used in correlation with hiring this guy as an officer, allowing him to hold a badging gun? That's already showing that he has personal traits or traits of misconduct, of being a problem. So it goes on to say, asked on the employee application for the Auburn Police Department if he had ever been convicted or charged with a current waiting for a trial, any crime of that of a minor traffic offense, including driving while intoxicated, Grayson answered no. I've only been arrested and charged for a DUI. Lying and abuse of power during previous law enforcement stints. Grayson worked at six different law enforcement. Six. They couldn't get it right. They couldn't get it right on the first. So I'm going to let him in there the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. We'll give him 6 tries to be a police officer. You know, I'm trying to understand this. Yeah, I understand. There are a lot of people out there that do not want to do the job of a police officer. I get that. Now, is this pressure from the unions to keep these people on, to get these positions filled? So we're just going to throw anybody in there with any type of record and just let them essentially stand a post? Is that what's going on here? Because of the pressure from the mayors, the governments, the people that are running these systems? You know, we have to hire, we have to get people in these positions. We can't fall short of people. I mean, there's hiring crises in every line of profession right now. But if I'm going to hand someone a badge and a gun, I want to make sure that they're completely vetted. And if there are any inklings that they're bad, they should not be holding a badge and gun. Obviously, this guy had a major history. What is wrong? Okay, it goes on to say, during his first year as an officer, Grayson bounced around 3 central Illinois police departments in Pawnee, Kincaid, and Verdon. His time as several of agencies overlapped as he worked part-time before obtaining a full-time position within the Auburn Police Department. In May 2022, Grayson went to Logan County Sheriff before he was hired by Sangamon County Sheriff Office a year later. While in Logan County Sheriff's Office, a supervisor officer rebuked Grayson for allegedly lying in reports and showing a lack of integrity. Right there. Right there. It should stop. This should have stopped in 2022. It should have stopped even before that. But integrity is, how do you uphold yourself when no one is around? Are you holding up to those company policies? Are you following the company policies? Are you acting in the best interest of the public and the department? That is what integrity is. When no one is around, how are you acting? And this has been on record to say that he is lacking integrity. According to the recording obtained by CBS News, and we're going to play that, the sheriff and I will not tolerate lying or deception. The officer can be heard telling Grayson, later adding, officers like you have been charged and have ended up in jail. This is back in 2022. And now let's fast forward to 2024. He's now murdered someone. Grayson was also accused of abusing his power and harassment a couple that he had pulled over and arrested during a traffic stop, CVS reported, citing a disciplinary file from Logan Sheriff's Department. The file noted the allegations of the group against Grayson were deemed unfounded. Garrard Police Chief Wayman Meredith told CBS that last year Grayson pressured him to call child services on a woman outside his home of Grayson's mother's. Meredith described Grayson as steaming mad and said that he flagged the incident to the Logan County Sheriff's Office. He was acting like a bully, Meredith told outlets. Speaking about Grayson, he was wanting me to do stuff that was not kosher. Sheriff's Office says that it had no knowledge of work misconduct. The Sangamon County Sheriff's Office said in a statement that they was not provided with any information regarding Grayson allegedly dishonest and misconduct during the time of Logan County Sheriff's Office. We were not provided with any such information from any Grayson former employer nor any credible agency, the statement said. We cannot commit on whether we can't comment on whether the information is accurate, nor why was it shared by other agencies. And again, this goes back down to the break in communication and follow-up through all of these departments. Now, I don't know how to get these records fixed. I'm not, I'm not in charge of anything like that. But in these departments, there needs to be transparency. And again, I think this goes back to the pressure of hiring in keeping positions filled. But we have to go back and we have to get a better vetting system of people that are going to be allowed to hold a badge and gun and respond to public incidents. This is how people get hurt. This is how people get killed. That's how we allow bad cops like this in our departments and our society to hold a badge and gun, because there's no accountability. There's no oversight. The system has completely broken down and failed. So it's going to go on to talk about they did know about his DUI arrests. And then it says he faced intense scrutiny, including from Massey's family, for the decision to hire Grayson. Campbell on Monday said that he would not step down, and this is the current chief of police. Okay, let's play some videos here and get caught up. Thank you for coming in this afternoon. Quick live on this situation. I wanted to make it fluent as it's a major situation. Major situation that needs to be talked about. All right, let's keep playing. This is from News Nation. Let's get caught up.
National outrage continues over the killing of Sonya Massey, a Black woman shot dead inside her Illinois home by a sheriff's deputy. On the night of July 6th, the 36-year-old called 911 to report a suspected intruder. Graphic body cam footage shows the moment Deputy Shawn Grayson pulled his gun on Massey, who was holding a pot of boiling water. He then fired a round into her face, killing her. And this video has outraged many people. The deputy has since been fired. He is charged in her murder, but his checkered past, including his discharge for misconduct from the Army, is raising more questions on how he was able to continue working in law enforcement. So let's bring in legal analyst and attorney Misty Maris. Misty, so great to see you. First of all, how significant is it that Sonya Massey's death has already been ruled a homicide? And not only that, but that ruling came so quickly.
It's very, very significant. And a lot of that, Nicole, is because the tape really speaks for itself. We're talking about this body cam footage that shows exactly what happened in that interaction. And so to have that, to move forward with these very, very serious charges, it took away a lot of the guesswork as to what happened when he entered her home. So it really did get into the court.
So essentially what happened, and we're going to watch this body cam video here in a minute. Essentially what happened was they responded to a call. They had a conversation with Sonya, the two police officers. I think that she was having some type of mental health issue episode going on. The Shawn Grayson, the officer that had been fired, or obviously had been fired and charged with murder. You can see him being very frustrated in the video. Essentially, Sonya was sitting on her couch as she had a pot of boiling water on the stove. She went to get up and go to that pot of water. As she approached the pot of water, they told her to put the pot down, as it essentially could be used as a weapon. But you can hear her saying, when the guns get drawn, she goes, no, 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 no. And she goes to put the pot down on the floor. And she essentially gets murdered. Now, my question is this. This all could have been prevented by a couple of things. One, if the other officer, the backup, as she's moving to go to the kitchen, why was she just not stopped? Now, I'm not defending the police here in this situation. I'm just trying to bring some other light that this all could have been prevented. And I think this goes back to training as well, too. So you have to start looking at the training of this other officer. Why was she allowed to move away from that scene at that moment? But she wasn't posing any threat. She didn't have any threatening. Her body language is not threatening. But again, if she was not allowed to get up and maybe said, hey, whoa, 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 just sit back down. You know, where are you going? I think this all could have essentially been prevented. So again, it goes back to training. It goes back to who we're hiring. Who are the people that are allowed to train these officers to put these people into this position of holding a gun and a badge? But let's play here a little bit more.
Courtroom and get to those charges very quickly.
Right. And we're actually seeing body cam from a different deputy there. You know, many times we see a police officer placed on leave after an officer involved shooting or a deputy. And in this case, Deputy Grayson was fired almost immediately. What does that tell you?
Well,
it tells me that it was so clear cut that there was misconduct, lack of
There's
judgment
not
in
any
this
threat.
particular case, that the organization, that the department did not think that they needed to do that aspect of it, Nicole. So there's a lot of rules in place, procedures and policies for each department. And in general, it requires an investigation into what happened before a termination can take place. To your point, there's generally a suspension. But again, this footage being so serious and so consequential resulted in termination immediately,
Yeah,
as
and an
opposed to
arrest
going through that process. So I think
for
we're
murder.
seeing the police department's opinion on that based on their actions. And now they're going to have to conduct an internal investigation into how we got here.
You know, and records show that the now former Deputy Grayson was removed from the Army. He had DUIs, multiple. He needed high stress decision classes. How important is Grayson's record going to be when it comes to the prosecution's case?
What's really going to be looked at is what happened when his employer found out about.
Been arrested for murder. He murdered her. I mean, he flat out murdered Sonya. He murdered her. Yes. Fired and arrested for murder.
These issues, or did they find out about them? What was the process for hiring? It's going to be really, really relevant to the civil case. The discharge from the Army, the more specifics about what that included. It was serious misconduct. What does that mean? What efforts were made to find out what that means? You know, there's always going to be this link between the type of conduct that's in someone's past and the duties that they actually have to perform. So something from someone's past might not be relevant at all to their employment, but other issues like that discharge from the Army, that's seriously problematic. Yep. Nicole, also, this really, really struck me. This high stress decision-making training that he was required to complete by a prior employer. Well, was his current employer aware of that? And what training did they give him on that front? So all of that is really going to be relevant to this case, both on the civil and criminal side.
You know, and Missy, what do you think will be the biggest obstacles for both the defense and the prosecution? And do you think we'll see a plea deal?
The biggest obstacle for the defense is going to be that justification between the act of that shot. I mean, just so disturbing. And then keep in mind, it didn't end there. There was the failure to perform any life-saving measures. A clear statement that says, she's already gone, don't bother. That just shows a level of intent, and that's what the prosecution is going to argue, a level of intent that goes beyond what you could establish in a self-defense situation. Now, on the flip side, there's always a defense, even if it doesn't appear to be that there always is a defense. They're going to argue that there was a threat, that boiling hot water was presumably something that could result in serious physical injury. And so there's going to be that.
Oh, sorry, I just lost the screen. She's not at any threat. She's not at any threat. Let's get that straight.
Right. To get over. Right. I don't know if we'll see a plea deal because of the severity of the conduct, but I imagine defense lawyers would try to do so given the optics of this case just being so horrible.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation now.
All right. Let's get a couple more here we can go through. Hang on one second. Let me just bring up my other screen. Okay, let's see. This is the audio that I was talking about reveals that this officer, 20 months before, disciplinary issues, recorded audio of Shawn Grayson. Let's play
7 months on. How are you still employed by us?
I don't know.
Shawn, do you understand what I am saying?
Yes, I do, sir.
And I've had this conversation with you before.
Really?
If we can't trust what you say and what you see, we can't have you in our uniform.
Jeez.
I'm calling you on your integrity. How does that make you feel?
I'm learning from it.
Are you angry with me for it? Do you understand it?
Yes. I don't get angry with this because, one, I have no experience. Before I came here, I had no experience. Two, I wasn't allowed to do this right here. I was not allowed to review my videos.
This is termination. I'm getting goosebumps. This is extremely concerning. Everybody likes you. I got to be able to trust you. Was this a purposefully done lie?
No. I full-heartedly, I still believed I was on North Madison until you just pulled up Google Maps and showed me in the daytime.
This is going to get deeper because you're going to have a hard time answering some questions here real quick.
Okay.
I just don't understand why this information wasn't shared with the next employer that he went on to. This is 20 months before Sonya Massey's killing. And this information was there. It was in the bank. And as he applied for other jobs to become police officers and in with the sheriff's department and other areas, this was never shared. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe someone can make sense of it, but I certainly can't. All right, let's go to the body cam video here. Let's see.
Wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody.
Welcome in, Deborah.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard.
But you know what I want? I want justice for my baby.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You killed the wrong black woman this time.
Amen. Amen.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to attach.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
Yeah. You have an ID? That'd make things so much easier. I just need just driver's license will do.
But I want to tell y'all, the sheriff is here is an embarrassment. Because this man should have never had a badge.
He's right.
He should have never had a gun. He should have never been given the opportunity to kill my child.
I don't know where my ID is.
You have that stack right there, maybe?
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see.
So now she's got the pot of water. She gets to get up and he says, we don't need a fire over here. She's got the pot of water in her hand now. She clearly puts it down on the ground.
Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my
gonna turn caps on. I want to see. Let's see. Let's back up.
Huh? Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
Rebuke you in the name of
better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in the face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot. Drop the
She puts the pot down.
This man had 2 convictions for DUI. He had a conviction for driving under the influence. And he was a member of law enforcement?
My Lord.
What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment to this country, to this county.
Let's go back again. Again, I know this is tough to watch. Let's go back.
In the name of Jesus.
I
Rebuke you in the name of
better not.
I think she says, I think she said, I'm going to kill you in the name of Jesus or something like that, or it's kind of unclear.
I rebuke you in the name of better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in the face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the
She said, I'm sorry. You can see her get down to put the pot down on the ground. And he shoots her.
drop the pot.
This man had 2 convictions for DUI. He had a conviction for driving
Rebuke.
under the influence.
Rebuke you in the name of
And he was
Jesus.
a
Thank
member of
you.
law enforcement?
Rebuke.
What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment to this country, to this county.
Jeez. Oh. All right, let's go to this here. From this morning, CBS Morning News.
New calls for accountability after a woman was killed by police after calling 911 for help. Residents of Springfield, Illinois, expressed outrage at a town hall yesterday. They are demanding answers for the death of Sonya Massey, who was shot in her own home by a deputy with a checkered past. Charlie DeMar has the story.
I don't understand how you hire a volcano and don't expect for it to erupt.
Springfield residents demanded accountability from local leadership Monday, weeks after Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Shawn Grayson shot and killed Sonya Massey in her home.
We are hiring officers who shouldn't even be given the right to wear that badge.
County Sheriff Jack Campbell said he was sorry, but he wouldn't step down.
We failed. We did not do our jobs.
Amen.
Grayson was fired over Massey's death and charged with first-degree murder. He has pleaded not guilty. CBS News has learned Grayson, who had worked for 6 police departments since 2020, had a
Look at the history. 2020 to 2021, one department. 2021 to 2022, another. 22 to 23, another one. 23 to 24, another one. Obviously, there's a track record with this individual, people. And no one's questioning when he's going to apply for new jobs. Why are you leaving the department? Why have you left the department? Did you have any disciplinary issues in that department that you just left? There's no oversight. No one's looking at this guy.
a history of disciplinary issues, including during his time with the Logan County Sheriff's Office in Illinois, where he was reprimanded for appearing to falsify information on a police report.
Terminate lights and sirens now.
And disobeying a command to terminate a high-speed chase until he hit a deer.
Do you agree, before we conclude this, that there's a mountain of policy violations that you committed?
And now, despite
Unreal.
Massey's shooting death, the police union representing Grayson filed a grievance against the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office, arguing he was terminated without just cause and calling for his reinstatement. Springfield Mayor Misty Busher.
What message does that send that the union would fight to reinstate this officer?
So I am a pro-union mayor, but that union I would not agree with, and I would fight them to the finish in the court of law. It saddens me that he had a badge to begin with.
Emotions clearly high here in Springfield last night. Later today in Chicago, Massey's family will join a large rally in her honor, continuing their calls for justice. Michelle?
Unreal. All right, a couple more here. This was just about an hour ago. It's another quick update. And the public calling for public records.
Activists are calling for more transparency around law enforcement officials right now as records in Wake County, law enforcement offices here in the wake. This is all in the wake of the Sonya Massey shooting death. Now that follows.
Oh, you're
news of
welcome,
yet
Kay. Thank you for
another
watching.
past reprimand involving the deputy who shot her. Amy Kiley has details on
Illinois.
that, as well as the status of a grievance filed on behalf of Deputy Shawn Massey.
Fresh developments in the Sonya Massey shooting case are rolling in. The Reverend Al Sharpton is calling for the release of certain employment records. They involve when law enforcement workers change jobs or are suspended or fired. That follows the release of audio of a former employer reprimanding Shawn Grayson. He's the former Sangamon County deputy charged with murdering Massey.
If we can't trust what you say and what you see, we can't have you in our uniform. When you have officers that stretch the law, they will get caught. They will get prosecuted.
Sharpton says Illinois should name such a law after Massey.
Why was he on the force when 5 other forces had to leave? What is wrong with the system?
Meanwhile, a union says it will not proceed with a grievance it filed to try to get Grayson reinstated.
Yeah,
The Illinois
I think his
Fraternal
time is
Order of
done.
Police Labor Council says it has sympathy for Massey's family.
I would have never in the world thought the police shot my mom. Like, how?
And finally, Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell says he won't step down despite calls for him to resign.
We failed Sonya. We failed Sonya's family and friends. We failed our community. And I stand here today before you with my arms wide open, and I ask for your forgiveness.
You are a failure, sir. You have failed that community. It all starts at the top. That's called leadership. And you have terrible leadership. And you probably knew, and there will be an investigation, you probably knew about the checkered past of this officer, and you allowed him on your force. You need to go or to be fired. You think that community is ever going to look at you in any positive light going forward? You're a failure, sir. Time to go. Time to go.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Attorney General Merrick Garland says the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division is carefully monitoring the state prosecution of Deputy Grayson.
I'd say. Okay. I got one more. Then we're going to wrap this up for today.
This morning, new details on former Deputy Shawn Grayson's troubling history in law enforcement. 30-year-old Grayson worked at 6 police departments in 4 years.
7 months on. How are you still employed by us?
I don't know.
That's Grayson in a 2022 recording responding to his then boss, Deputy Chief Nathan Miller at the Logan County, Illinois Sheriff's Office, questioning him about his mishandling of a traffic case.
Do you understand that's a violation of pursuit policy?
Yes, I do.
Grayson was accused of violating department policy and submitting inaccurate reports.
But a lot of officers have been charged and end up in jail because that's what they perceived. Official misconduct will land you in jail.
Grayson's integrity also raised.
Others will say you have no integrity and you're lying. I'm calling you on your integrity. How does that make you feel?
I'm learning from it. I don't get angry.
Obviously, you
Logan
haven't.
County eventually terminating Grayson.
If we can't trust what you say and what you see, we can't have you in our uniform.
Grayson now behind bars and charged with murder for the July 6th shooting of Sonya Massey in her home near Springfield, Illinois. Massey called police to report a possible prowler. Things quickly escalate when deputies told her she could remove a pot of boiling water from the stove.
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
rebuke you in the name of
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the Drop the pot.
19 shots fired.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Grayson has pleaded not guilty. Massey's heartbroken.
So just to know, like, let people know, rebuke, express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of a behavior or actions. It's not even a threat to kill, harm, or maim. It's a verbal disagreement in what you are doing. I can't.
An angry family now wondering why Grayson was able to jump from department to department. Her father speaking to ABC affiliate KATV.
Our whole family is in a disarray. The main focus of everybody is
Exactly,
that
Jody.
this animal gets justice. He gets exactly what he deserves.
Overnight, the Sangamon County Sheriff apologizing.
This guy needs to go.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She called for help and we failed her.
Sorry's not enough, sir. Sorry's not going to bring Sonya back. You need to go. You need to resign or be fired.
That's all she did. That's all she did was call for help.
And Grayson was also discharged from the Army for serious misconduct. He is being held without bond. His attorney declined to comment. Alex Perez, ABC News, Chicago.
Wow. Just wow. So, my friends, I wanted to come on today and shed a little bit of light on this horrible and tragic event that happened in Springfield, Illinois. It's something that definitely I'd like to continue to follow and dig into a little bit more here. But I wanted to bring it out to public light and see what you all thought of this case and get your thoughts and ideas and comments. So please, if you're watching this on replay, make sure to comment down below, subscribe to the channel as we cover many, many cases of true crime across all spectrums, and especially here in Massachusetts. And I will be back this evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have 2 live guests joining me in studio, Tom CPU and Boston Mike. And I'm sure this conversation will continue this evening when they're in the studio as well, too. So I hope everybody has an amazing afternoon. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be back tonight at 8:30 p.m. Thank you for jumping in, and I'll talk to everybody soon. All right. See you tonight, 8:30 p.m. Have a good day. Bye-bye.